Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN is presented by Tecate, the official beer of boxing. We're here at the Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. We bring you inside for our main event of the evening, where Robert Manzanares is inside the ring, a 36-1 record with 29 knockouts. He's on a 15-fight win streak since his lone loss in November of 2012. But Mercito Gesta, he's at a crucial step in his career. Our own Beto Duran takes a closer look at what is next for the Filipino southpaw.
For Mercito Gesta, he's used to the bigger stage, has fought against Jorge Linares, he's fought at Fantasy Springs, he's the A side, but he also knows that he's getting older in the sport of boxing, and these youngsters, like Manzanares, are coming after him. He also knows that if he loses, that he could easily be the guy that they measure themselves up against. A gatekeeper, something he said he's not going to become in the sport of boxing. For tonight, Mercito Gesta, the Filipino, now living in San Diego, a lot on the line.
No, after the Linares fight, I feel like, it gains me more experience, and it was a good fight. I gave my all. I fought one of the best fighters, Jorge Linares, and after that, I am more confident. I feel like I could have done a little bit more different, but once you're in the ring, it's a different story. You cannot just say after the fight, oh, I should have done this. It is different once you're in there facing your opponent, and I am grateful to have that fight.
Linares might have a real fight on his hands.
My next opponent, Roberto Manzanares, one thing that I know about this fighter, he's tall, he has the reach, he knows how to use his reach, because some of the fighters, they might be tall, but they fight inside. But this fighter knows how to back up, knows how to use his reach. And that's actually a little difficult for that, to fight with taller fighter, and he knows how to use the distance. But, we've been studying and trying to find out how to fight against these guys instead of me just following him and chase him all night. I'm gonna do a little adjustment, and hopefully it works for this fight.
Mercito Gesta, unbeaten in non-title fights. He'll step into the ring tonight against Robert Manzanares. As we take a look at the Tecate tail of the tape, the reach, obviously, and the height are going to favor the taller Manzanares, but pretty much the same amount of fights, but Gesta has fought almost twice as many rounds in 35 fights compared to 37 fights for Manzanares. Mark Friedl's in the center of the ring with the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again, and welcome to Fantasy Springs Resort Casino here in Indio, California. This is Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN. Our main event this evening is scheduled for 10 rounds and will be contested for the vacant WBO NABO Lightweight Championship. It's brought to you by Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions and presented by Tecate, the official beer of boxing, Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle, and WAD Gear. The main event is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, the chairman, John Cavelli, the executive officer, Andy Foster. It's also sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization. The president is Francisco Paco Valcarcel. The supervisor joining us here in the ring is Gino Rodriguez. The judges for this championship contest are Max DeLuca, Pat Russell, and Zachary Young. And controlling the action at the sound of the bell, the Hall of Fame referee is Jerry Cantu. And now, once again, live from Indio, California, 10 rounds for the NABO Lightweight Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, it's go time! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 134 3/4 pounds. His impressive professional record consists of 35 victories against 1 defeat, 28 wins by way of knockout. Wearing black with gold from Phoenix, Arizona, and fighting out of Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico. Please welcome Robert Tito Manzanares. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at 134 3/4 pounds. His professional record consists of 31 victories against 2 defeats with 2 draws, 17 wins coming by way of knockout. Wearing blue and white with the standard of the Philippines, he hails from Cebu in the Philippines. Now fighting out of Los Angeles, he's accompanied by the Hall of Fame trainer Freddie Roach. Please welcome 2-time world title challenger Mercito No Mercy Hesta.
Gentlemen, you were giving your instructions in the dressing room. I want a good, clean, hard fight, and you will obey my commands at all times. Touch them up. Good luck to both of you.
All right, thank you for joining us here for our main event this evening. I'm Bernardo Osuna, joined ringside by Joel Diaz as our color analyst tonight, and Beto Duran, our ringside reporter. Mercito Hesta against Robert Manzanares. Both fighters know each other well. They've seen each other on tape, but now it's time to do it for real. Mercito Hesta said, hey, it's not the first time I fought a taller fighter, as we see referee Gary Cantu go make an adjustment to the spittoon over in the red corner, and now we're ready to go. What do you expect from this fight, Joel?
It's going to be a great fight because they're both taking this fight very, very important, very, very serious. Because winning this fight, it opens doors for them. And as we can see, they started off fast. They're already clinching because they're always gonna clash like that. One right-hander, one left-hander. It's always gonna happen. But Mercito needs to find his way in. Manzanares needs to keep him outside. That's what's gonna make it interesting. See who puts in the more work.
Mercito said he's got a good record, but I've fought better fighters. There's a lot for him to gain because putting my name on his record as a win means a lot more at this stage of the game. And Manzanares made no bones about it. He said, hey, his best weapon is his speed. He's a fast fighter, and even though he is short, he's more of a boxer than a brawler. I can neutralize him with my jab, my straight punches, create openings, and then land my bigger shots. So we'll see who can do what they plan to do, because now the bell has rung and all plans go out the window.
Manzanares has been setting up the jab, using his distance very well. And as soon as Mercito walks in, he catches him with a right to solo flex. So that can be a factor. Taller fighters always, tend to fall short on punches when you got a shorter fighter in front of you. But Manzanares is measuring the distance really, really well.
Break.
Landed the right hand to the body again. Mercito needs to compose himself just a little. Use this round, maybe this round and the next, to measure Manzanares. Make him open up, make him think.
Manzanares trying to come in from the outside, kind of allowing this fight to be fought in close quarters. He said that's one of the things I've been working on, my inside game, because he's got those very long arms that he can use from the outside, but sometimes fighters just love to be on this inside. It reminds me of Zurdo Ramirez, who can fight from the outside, but they just love to feel that inside game.
Yeah, they like to feel that different style, because they want to feel comfortable on the inside and on the outside.
The jab there sets up Mercito Hesta very well. So Robert Manzanares, a completely different fighter when he fights on the outside. Nice right hand there from Mercito Hesta. Once again, finds the way in and makes Manzanares pay.
That's exactly what Hesta needs to do. He needs to make Robert think, feints. Start jabbing to the body, making Robert bring his defense down and then change it up.
Clash of heads there between both fighters, neither the worse for wear, as round one is coming to an end. This is our main event, Mercito Hesta taking on Robert Manzanares at Fantasy Springs.
ahorita están un poquito más ocupaditos. Tírame más derechas al estómago, ¿ok? Por la cabeza se está moviendo, pero tocas, fintas y me tiras al estómago, ¿ok? Tocas 1, 2 y te me vas al otro lado, ¿ok? Ahorita está un poquito frío, entonces hay que tratar de pegar un poquito. Ok, necesito más cuerpo ahorita que está un poquito. Dame más, un poquito más, ¿ok? Dame un poquito más, ¿ok? Ese jab, finta, pa, ya fintas aquí, ¿ok? 1, 2 y al cuerpo, ¿ok? Vamos.
Mercito Gesta trained by Freddie Roach, and Robert Manzanares trained by Jose Benavides, the father of WBC super middleweight champ David and welterweight prospect Jose, who could be one of the men in line to face Terrence Crawford, Crawford at welterweight in the near future. So a lot on that trainer's plate, but first up is Gesta, the southpaw fighter who's looking to work his way in. And they definitely want more work with the jab, Joel, in terms of Manzanares.
They both need to use the jab more. Establish the jab, but you never go wrong with working the body. And both of them. And Mercito needs to start jabbing to the body, straight left to the body, moving out. And Manzanares as well. Manzanares needs to do a double jab right. Now they're jumping into each other.
Break under.
Accidents can happen, and the way Gestas is jumping in, it can end up in a clash of heads.
You know, southpaws and orthodox fighters not only tend to click their heels together, but also the heads can come together in the center of the ring. That's where Manzanares needs to be a lot smarter, use his range instead of lunging in. There he gets caught with a nice counter from Mercito Gesta as he dipped his head forward.
See, when you see Manzanares steps in with his defense down. His hands are a little low. If Mercito starts applying pressure to the body, because here Manzanares already has his defense a little low, he can come up, make a switch, and shoot some surprising overhand lefts and land or a right hook.
There's a lot there for Mercito Gesta to exploit if he can just set it up properly. Both fighters talked about setting up their shots in this fight, and both fighters throw less than the lightweight average for punches thrown per round. But here we see better punch output because of what you mentioned in the open of the show. Why? The fact that they needed to keep those hands active in order, one, to get inside for Gesta, and one, to keep him out in Manzanares.
One of them's fighting to get in, and the other one's fighting to keep the other one out. So they need to throw more combinations, more volume of work.
Stop. 2 steps back, 2 steps, break, 2 steps back. There you go.
I see Mercito losing a little bit of power on his punches because he throws his punches at the same time he moves his feet. So his foundation is not completely solid.
Yeah, we saw great teamwork here between the timekeeper and referee Jerry Cantu. The timekeeper pointed out that was a trip. So in case the Jerry Cantu wanted to start counting for an official knockdown, it was great teamwork here by the California State Athletic Commission as everyone's part of the team. Nice punch and movement from Robert Manzanares here at the close of the second round, as it's still more of a chess match than a boxing fight here in Indio, California.
Deep breath. All right. Now the jab's working good for you, okay? The jab's working well, okay? All right, and the hooks, you're landing a good shoulder hook, okay? You just go with the 1, 2, 3, all right? Okay. Jab, right hand, left hook. The hooks land every time. Okay?
Atácame el cuerpo, ¿ok? O si ves que viene para frente, un pasito para atrás y atácame el cuerpo, ¿ok?
Pero close. Maybe the double jab, all right? Right hand, left.
All right, no secret that when a southpaw and an orthodox fighter get together, anything can happen, Joel.
Especially when they're fighting upstairs and downstairs with their feet. There we see Mercito had his foot on the outside, moving to his left, and he tripped on Manzanares' left foot.
And one of the most important things when you have fighters with opposite guards is you want to establish that outside foot. Why is that so important?
Why? Because if your foot is on the inside, you're setting up for straight punches in the middle. You have to always be on the outside. So don't give your opponent the edge of landing those straight shots. That's why you always have to keep moving to the opposite side.
Here we see another slip between these two fighters. And as we were talking about, they want to establish that outside foot. Not only that, but you also close an exit avenue for your opponent if your foot is on the outside. And here Mercito Gesta getting on the inside and taking advantage, even though his foot's on the inside, taking advantage with those straight shots.
It's very complicated. You have a left-hander and a right-hander. They're fighting with their hands and they're fighting with their feet. That's the reason why they tangled up so much.
All right, Beto Duran was in Robert Manzanares' corner. What does Mr. Benavidez want?
El Cuerpo attack the body. They said focus on the body because Gesta keeps his hands up really high and they feel like he leaves himself exposed on the body. They said this kid knows how to protect El Cuerpo. That's all you kept hearing in the corner of Manzanares.
Hands free.
Not a bad advice at any point. Joel mentioned that earlier. You never can go wrong working the body. That'll break down your opponent throughout the rounds. And neither one really putting in that work so far, Joel.
They're both smothering their punches. They still haven't found their timing. I mean, they need to figure out a little bit of the timing, find the right distance.
There's that body work from Manzanares finally as Gesta tries to headbutt, and Manzanares says, hey, you're going to let your hands go? I'm going to let my hands go downstairs as he leaves the body unprotected.
They're getting busier. They're getting busier every round. So now it's the time for Gesta to start thinking a little more, landing some great shots. Why? Because he made the feint first before he stepped in. He needs to feint before he throws. Manzanares, his hands are getting lower and lower, but he needs to rail him in. He needs to invite him in, set the jab, and invite him in and counter him on the way in. Manzanares uses his reach really well, but as you see, his back foot is always in the same spot. If he can move his back foot when Mercito steps in, he can catch him, just set him up, invite him in, and throw the straight right.
All right, last 10 seconds of this third round. It's still a chess match between Gesta and Manzanares. This is a scheduled 10-rounder here on Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN.
Creo que te funcionó un poquito esperando. Ahorita en este round vamos a calmar vamos, si quieres tú, cambiamos un poquito a contrapegada, ¿ok? Porque ya él piensa que estás así. Ahí, chico. Distancia, ¿ok? La misma distancia, ponte listo, cuerpo y recto, trata de tirarme esa derecha recta, ¿ok? Ahora sí, si quieres toca, listo, para quedar bien parado por atrás y me tiras al cuerpo, me tiras algo, ¿ok? Con una derecha o algo, ¿ok? Pero más no te me duermas, no te me vayas a dormir, ponte listo, los ojos abiertos.
Look who's in the crowd. Lucas La Máquina Matisse, who will fight Manny Pacquiao on July 15th, July 14th in the United States. His trainer, Joel Diaz, is next to me calling the fights. What is camp looking like for Lucas for this all-important fight?
Camp is looking great. Lucas Matisse is looking really, really strong, very motivated. At this point, conditioning as well. His weight is great. So we're just looking forward to July 15th. And you guys are going to see a great fight and a great fighter in Lucas Matisse.
You get a second crack at Manny Pacquiao after training Tim Bradley. What's the greatest challenge at this stage, even though Manny is advanced in age and maybe not the same guy that you fought the first time around?
Well, it's an honor just sharing the ring with Manny Pacquiao for the third time. And, I know that he's a little older now. And Matisse is as well. As a fighter, he's an old fighter already. So it's going to be a great fight. I expect two warriors getting in there and giving the best of their ability.
All right, that was the trainer, Joel Diaz. Now put on your commentator headset, and round 4 of Gesta Manzanares. What adjustment would you ask of Manzanares at this stage of the game from what we've seen?
What adjustment? The adjustments that we've made with Manzanares is keep a fluent jab, and as soon as Mercito Gesta steps in, pull your back foot forward. Pull your back foot forward and catch him on the way in. So he needs to move a little more towards his left because Mercito's foot is in the inside. So by moving to the left, he will allow Mercito to jump straight forward and go through.
And then once again, the straight right hand of Mercito Gesta finding a home on the chin of Manzanares. As Manzanares, when he's on the outside, is able to connect on Mercito Gesta, but not enough of that. He's smothering his own punches and allowing Mercito Gesta to dictate the fight. If you're a judge and you're seeing the taller fighter get pulled into an inside fight, is that more ring generalship for Mercito Gesta?
Yes, of course, because that's Mercito Gesta's fight. Mercito's fight is on the inside. Manzanares' fight is on the outside. And Mercito's getting in. But when he gets in, they fall in the clinch, and they're both smothering each other. You don't see clean punches. You don't see a lot of action on the inside from Mercito. He needs to start applying smother Manzanares. He landed some great shots right there. He landed a good right hook. He's not using his straight lefts either.
Mercito Gesta stalking Manzanares, and if you're Manzanares, that's not what you want. You want him to be stalking Gesta or working from the outside effectively, as Gesta lands a nice right hand here, and he connects to the chin of Manzanares. I mean, Manzanares is getting beat to the punch here so far in this fight. Definitely not what they were expecting.
The adjustments that Mercito made in this round are working for him because he's landing better shots now.
All right, we got a great main event tonight between Gesta and Manzanares. But next week, we've got an even better one. June 23rd at the Velasco Theater, it will be Virgil Ortiz, the 7-time amateur national champion, undefeated, 9-0. All of his wins coming by way of knockout. He'll be in a scheduled 10-rounder. You won't want to miss that at 8 Eastern on ESPN2. This is Virgil has to say about such an important fight.
Fighting a good fighter brings the best out of you, you know, because styles make fights. So when you're fighting an experienced fighter, all the experience that you have is coming out of you too, and it's gonna make me the better. Fight fans can expect a great performance from me June 23rd.
Earlier tonight, Joel, we saw 2 of Golden Boy's undefeated prospects step into the ring together. We'll have Virgil Ortiz and Hector Finito Tanajara on the same fight card, 2 of the other prize prospects. What do you expect from Virgil, a knockout puncher that you know very well?
You know, Virgil is a devastating puncher, and he's a smart fighter, one of the smartest fighters I've ever worked with, and he has devastating power. But not only that, the power comes with accuracy, and that's what Virgil Ortiz has. Virgil has the perfect timing to land the shot he wants to land.
And you know that because you train him, you've seen him in against elite fighters, and he puts hands on some of the champs in the gym.
I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where Virgil Ortiz is, he's always going to be the elite fighter anywhere he is. I mean, you can tell the difference between Virgil Ortiz and anybody in there because of his boxing. Because boxing, how smart he is, how hard he works, and more than anything, how disciplined he is.
All right. Beto Duran was in Mercito Gesta's corner. What did Freddie Roach have to say?
Pick up the pace, keep with the pressure also. He said Manzanares is leaving himself wide open. They want Gesta to bring it closer to him. They said don't give him any chance to have range. Get close, look for that uppercut that's open.
Yeah, because he's making Manzanares fight his fight, not allowing him to extend those arms. And, you don't want to get too wild, though, Joel, because that's something that Manzanares can take advantage if Gesta makes that mistake.
Yeah, you can. You make a mistake, and you'll pay for it. Right now, you see Manzanares is using his straight punches. He's using his jab really well, 1-2. As I said earlier in the fight, he's working a little more. Now he's keeping Mercito outside, and that's what he needs to do. But he needs to be a little more effective with his punches. He's just throwing punches just to keep Mercito outside, but that's not enough.
You see that they've thrown close to 150 punches through the first 4 rounds of this fight. The average for a lightweight is close to 50 per round. So we knew that they were below that average. They said they needed to throw more in terms of keeping each other at bay. They've thrown more than their own average, but still well below the lightweight average because there's still a respect factor between them.
Yeah, and at the same time, you see Manzanares. He's already using the ring. He's moving around the ring, trying to keep Mercito on the outside. There he lands a straight right hand, but he lands a straight right hand and he stops. He needs to follow with a left hook and then follow up to the body again with a left hook to the body as well.
He set up a nice right hand with a jab earlier, did Manzanares, and now when he's working from the outside, making Mercito work and following him around the ring, that works a lot better for him than allowing Mercito to smother him. There you see him make Mercito Gesta miss. So just that small amount of distance makes a huge difference.
Makes a big difference, especially when you're setting up, you throw your combinations and then you step out. He's using good angles. Manzanares is using good angles by just bringing Mercito in and making a miss.
There's a cut.
Está bien. Tito, necesitas echarle un poquito más de ganas, tienes que ser un poquito más de agresivo tú. Presta, quita eso. Tito, pésame la plancha. Tito, tienes que ponerte listo.
Good job. All right, the hook's there for you, combination's there for you, backing him up really nice, okay? Keep that pressure on him. The feints work well, but the feints is so much choice backing him up. All right, then the combination, okay? Now, that hook and the uppercut and the hook with them will roll over you, okay? Put the uppercut and the hook together for me. Either way, okay?
Esta es la pelea donde vas a saltar a la fama. Aquí es donde te tienes que ver bien.
A ver, quítate.
Échale ganas, hay que echarle ganas.
Espera, toma. Ahí está.
Jose Benavidez Sr. working on that cut over the right eye of Robert Manzanares. Happened at the very end of that 5th round. Now we're in the second half of the fight. A little bit too much Vaseline. And what does that do to a fighter when they put too much Vaseline? Why is it that they want to bring some of that off?
You know, I mean, it's just excess of Vaseline. You have a limit. They just want to put enough. I mean, it can work different ways. The way I see it can, slip the punches a little more. But I mean, that's the purpose of putting Vaseline on. Right there, they use the Vaseline on the cut, to maintain the bleeding.
All right, Freddie Roach had some very important instructions for Mercito Gesta. Beto, what were they?
Keep the pressure on. And they think that Manzanares is holding too much, so they told him when he's holding, throw the body hooks. But one thing that they like about Gesta is the pressure, but they said that he needs to pick up the activity a little bit more and make Manzanares go back. They feel like Manzanares right now is looking uncomfortable.
Now, good use of range there from Manzanares. Just sidestepped and countered Mercito Gesta as he catches him coming in. This is where Manzanares wants to be, not allowing Gesta to close that distance.
That's using his reach properly. By using his reach properly, what he does, he makes Mercito miss, makes him fall short on his punches, and counters. And that's what Manzanares is doing. That's why Manzanares establishes the jab in front of Gesta's so that he can rail him in. Just keeping him outside. Just touching him. Now he's using good angles, moving around the ring. Nice body shot right there.
And when you look at what Manzanares is doing, he's feinting with the jab too, making Mercito Gesta think and not just allowing him to be inside. There he's following the directions of Freddie Roach, throwing to the body when Manzanares clinches.
See, but Mercito's still holding there. He needs to move inside a little more. He's moving one way. He needs to move to the left, to the right, and try to corner Manzanares against the ropes. That way he can work. Like that, he cannot work because Manzanares is too tall.
Nice jab from Manzanares earlier. Then he changes it up with a straight right, followed by the left.
This is a round where Manzanares is frustrated. Mercito Gesta is not finding his range because Manzanares is keeping him outside.
The question is, why wasn't Manzanares able to do it during the first 5 rounds of this fight? Did he find the adjustment that finally worked for him, or is it Gesta getting a little tired?
A little bit of both. You know, I just think Gestas is getting a little frustration. He's a little frustrated now, and he can't find his range. That's what he's doing. And Manzanares feels more comfortable moving in angles and keeping Mercito on the outside by moving in angles here.
He's been working on being more explosive and taking control of the fight as Manzanares. It's finally now in round number 6 that we see the second part of that. All right, round 6 is in the books of a scheduled 10-rounder. It's a beautiful sunset among the palm trees here in Indio, California outside, but Mercito Gesta refuses to let the sunset on his career. He still feels that after 2 world title opportunities, the last one earlier this year against Jorge Linares in January, he wants to work his way to a 3rd title shot. Robert Manzanares, he's still dreaming of his first big opportunity. This is only his 3rd fight in the United States.
See, at this point of the fight, Mercito needs to start feinting. He's not using no feints. I mean, establishing the jab to the body, for the reason being, he needs to throw some feints and surprise Manzanares on top. And he needs to start cutting the ring, because Manzanares already got a good pattern of moving in angles where Mercito can't find him.
All right, Beto Duran was in Manzanares' corner. Looked like the last 2 rounds were better for the fighter from Phoenix, Arizona. What's the feeling in the corner?
Yeah, they really like what they saw the last 2 rounds. They say, keep your distance, you can hit him. But that was for about 10 seconds. And the rest of the minute was a hype. They were motivating him. Tú puedes, quieres la pelea. Do you want this fight? You can. It was like motivational speaking. I'm all fired up right now, Bernie.
I can hear it in your voice, Beto. You're excited. The decibel levels are high, and the adrenaline is pumping. Take it easy, though. The man throwing the punches here is Robert Manzanares. He caught Mercito Gesta overreaching with that left, and he caught him with a nice right coming in. And once again, he's making Gesta come in, and he's making him pay.
He made that beautiful adjustment. Now he knows how to measure. Now he's railing him in and timing him perfectly. As soon as he steps in, he's catching him with the right hand. There he gets caught with the left on the way out, because he pulled straight back out instead of moving an angle. He needs to step to the sides as he's moving out.
Manzanares landing 15 more punches, or 19 more punches on 15 less punches thrown. So the percentages in favor of Manzanares according to our CompuBox stats. That was through the first 6 rounds. Nice right hand there from Mercito Gesta, who caught Manzanares taking a nap, and he made him pay. I mean, at no point are you safe in the ring against any opponent, especially one with the experience of Mercito Gesta.
Exactly. Mercito's pretty smart. He knows how to find his way in and out. For example, there's a right hook on Manzanares.
Well, you talked about adjustments, and right now, in this 7th round, it's that right hook that Gesta has landed on 2 occasions, so he's also made his adjustments.
Well, he just made that adjustment now, because early in the round, Manzanares was keeping him on the outside and bringing him in.
That's the age-old question. Do you give Manzanares this round for the overall dominance, or the 2 big punches that Mercito Gesta was able to land? That's the question here as we come to the end of this, the 7th round.
¿Qué tanto quieres ganar? ¿Qué tanto quieres ese cinturón? Tienes que echarle un poquito más de ganas, ¿ok? No corras tanto, no te muevas tanto. Si te vas a mover, tírame algo. Si te vas a mover, tírame algo, ¿ok? Listo, listo.
Hay que demostrar, hay que demostrar. A eso viene.
Pásame vaselina. Otra. Listo, listo.
Vamos a hacer explosivos.
Respira, respira, respira.
¿Qué vas a hacer más explosivos?
Hay que echarle ganas. Buena distancia, cuerpo.
Okay. All right, put these numbers together for me, all right? Let's pick up the volume a little bit, okay? All right, well, you're not even breathing. Okay? Let's go to work, okay?
Listo, 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 listo. Hay que tirar, hay que ser más agresivo en distancia, listo. Ponme esto en frío, por favor.
Starting the 8th round of a scheduled 10th rounder here, Mercito Gesta. 31-2-2 with 17 knockouts against Robert Manzanares, 36-1 with 29 knockouts. Although most of that happened in Mexico, this is only his 3rd fight in the United States. He said, I want to make a name for myself now in the U.S. And Gesta says, well, you got to come through and deal with these punches as he tries to come in and he gets caught with Gesta making quick adjustments here in round number 8. He and Freddie Roach finding a rhythm once again.
Well, Gestas came in with a great combination, landed 2 shots out of 3. And Manzanares' corner, they're telling him, you got to be more aggressive. You got to go get him. I mean, I don't think that's the proper advice at this point. He needs to keep doing what he did early in the last round. Keep him away. He needs to hit and move, hit and move, hit and move. That's what works better for Manzanares. Maintaining Mercito Gestas on the outside with his reach and using good angles, good footwork. He needs to keep moving. Hit and move, hit and move. Don't let the shorter fighter step in.
Yeah, that was in rounds 5 and 6 where he was able to really control the range and make Mercito Gesta pay. That's what you want from a tall, rangy fighter like Manzanares, but maybe the idea that they have to come in here and make a splashy debut on ESPN, on national TV, you know, that also plays on a fighter as well. It doesn't allow them to perform how they would like to. I mean, you've seen it as a cornerman.
Exactly, but styles make fights. And in this case, this fight's not going to get any better in action than what it already is. What you do by telling your fighter when it's not the type of fight, the proper fight to fight, go in there and get him, you're jeopardizing your fighter because you're not giving him the proper advice. Tell him, go get him when he can hit and move, and he can win the fight. He can win the fight from the outside.
You sure can, and the rounds where he has been on the outside have been extremely good for him. But Gesta able to once again close the range and gives both fighters a little rest, as Jerry Cantu, the 3rd man in the ring.
Manzanares moves really well to his left. He's trying to avoid Gesta's left hand.
Very nice counter there from Manzanares. When he fights at that range, he becomes untouchable for Mercito Gesta. Not understanding why he hasn't been doing that all night long, but Gesta catches him there, makes the blood start flowing once again from the right eyebrow of Manzanares, and here comes Gesta, the buzzsaw, and Manzanares tries to do his best to keep him on the outside. This is the chess match we expected all night long.
Manzanares moves really, really well when he's on the outside.
La plancha.
Está haciendo bien, eso es donde viste mejor. Hay que seguir trabajando,
Tito, cuando tú quieres, güey, puedes hacer lo que tú quieras. Sí, está bien, todo bien.
Vamos arriba.
Dame vaselina.
Hay que sacar, hay que demostrar. Demuestra que ya está listo para las buenas peleas. Demuestra que ya tienes...
Stay with it. I want a little more numbers from you, okay? All right, a little more activity, okay? All right, but the pace is the key, all right? Pace, keep backing him up. Keep backing him up. All right?
Vamos.
In Robert Manzanares' corner, Junior Lopez was yelling,
Clean it up, gentlemen.
go prove that you're ready for the big fights. Is that what you want your guy to do, to go out there and prove that he's ready for big fights, or you want him to prove what he's capable from the outside?
I mean, if it's your style, to me, if it's your style and, you know, I'm not going to jeopardize you in there, I'll tell him, you know what, keep moving, countering, you know, hit him and move, hit him and move. You know, we got a few more rounds, let's win this fight. I mean, the simple fact that you're going to beat Mercito, if you beat Mercito, you're already going to take a step ahead. Simple as that.
There
I mean,
you go.
I will not jeopardize my fighter and tell him, go do what he's not supposed to do, just to prove something. Obviously, you have to look spectacular, but he's looking good. He's putting in there a great little boxing class right there. He's boxing really well. He's keeping Mercito outside. Look, he's using his jab, moving to his left. He's doing really well. I mean, just by beating Mercito Gestas here, he caught him.
That was a slip. Once again, he slipped around the edge, and unfortunately, Jerry Cantu caught that. All right, Beto Duran, what did you catch in each of the corners?
Mercito has to calm in that corner with Freddy Roach there. They want him to put together 3-4 punch combinations. They feel like they're winning this fight by a couple of rounds. Now, on the other side, the Mexican Manzanares, you feel the sense of urgency. Benavides, his trainer, said, tenemos que ganar los últimos dos. We need to win the last 2 rounds. I asked him, are you losing? He said, I don't know, but we better win the last 2 rounds, and he needs to step it up. He needs to let everything go for the kid from Los Mochis.
I see this as a very close fight between these two fighters. There's been a lot of close rounds where ring generalship of Gesta has been important. There's been other rounds where it's been the boxing skill of Manzanares from the outside that has been better. But here you see when Gesta closes the distance, he's able to do some damage. And just the footwork of Manzanares not as crisp here in this 9th round, Joel.
Finally, he's letting go of those overhand lefts. They're very, very effective right there. 3 in a row.
Gesta finding a home for that overhand left, getting a little wild here, looping with his shots, but when they connect, they certainly have an effect on Robert Manzanares, who now is once again tying up Mercito Gesta. The fans let him know, too. I don't like that.
That's the aggressive Gesta that we need in order for him to show a different fight, because he can't stay outside. He can't stay and think too much and give Manzanares the edge of thinking and countering him on the outside.
Stop at the bell.
Another close 9th round here between Gesta and Manzanares. Okay, back with round 10.
Last round, we'll touch him up in the center.
All right, go, deep breath. All right, now listen. This guy is walking into your hook all night long. He moves in one direction. All right? Go, cut him off and let that go, okay? See? The right hand, the hook. All right? The right hand is the decoy. The hook's the killer, okay? The hook's the killer. Get close. All right? Right hand, let's go. All right? Don't follow him. Cut him off, okay? Cut the ring off.
Freddy Roach with the instructions from Mercito Gesta. Thanks to our Hennessy corner cam. Never stop, never settle. All right, Jerry Cantu with the final instructions for this 10th and final round between Mercito Gesta and Robert Manzanares. Manzanares wants to make a name for himself here in the United States after fighting his first 34 professional bouts in the United States. This is his 38th pro fight. And Mercito Gesta, the instructions were extremely clear. Very effective if he can execute the plan that Freddy Roach laid out.
He needs to follow the instructions. Freddy gave him the proper advice. He just needs to execute it.
Nice work to the body. Clinching is now Manzanares, who tries to push him back. And Gesta made a crucial mistake there. He was looking to Jerry Cantu instead of defending himself, and Manzanares could have taken advantage of that.
Big mistake. You gotta always look at your opponent and keep your hands up, because a punch that you don't see coming is the one that hurts you.
give your opponent any freebies, much less a fighter with 29 knockouts and 36 wins like Robert Manzanares. But once again, we talk about quality of your opposition. And Mercito Gesta was very clear in saying, hey, you know what? He's got a good record, but I fought better fighters. And I think that's proven tonight.
Yeah, Mercito Gesta's fought a better opposition, obviously. And right here, he's shown that he's starting to dominate in the later rounds. But there were some critical rounds in between where Manzanares was dominating with his footwork and his ability to move, keeping him outside the distance. But now, Mercito made that change. Freddie, gave him proper advice, and he's following rules. As far as the adjustments he's making, he's doing really, really well.
One of the things you look at when Manzanares lands a nice overhand right, you always look at when the judges are watching a fight, who's fighting their fight. And I'd have to say that more this evening, it's been Manzanares it's been Mercito Gesta making Manzanares fight his fight rather than Manzanares staying on the outside, except for those middle rounds that you mentioned.
Yeah, there was a few rounds, and sometimes fighters themselves, they go on their own to try little different things to see if they work for them so that we can make a little change. It's going into a different comfort zone.
Last 45 seconds of this 10th and final round. The fight could still be in the balance here between Mercito Gesta as he continues to press. He continues to try to close down the range and not allow Manzanares to work from the outside.
See, Mercito's just moving forward, but he's just looking for the head. He's just head hunting. He needs to move as Manzanares moves, hit the body, hit the body, hit the body. But he's just head hunting.
The end is near, more posing than punching here in the 10th round. That could still be up for grabs in the eyes of the judges.
Yeah, it's a close fight. It's a close fight. Early rounds, middle rounds, and late rounds. It's a close fight.
That's the final bell for this 10-round main event here on Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN. Will it be Mercito Gesta coming away with a win that'll put him on the way to a third world title shot, or did Roberto Manzanares do just enough to put his name on the map here in the United States? Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN is presented by Tecate, the official beer of boxing. And it's brought to you by Hennessy. Never stop, never settle. As well as by Canelo Triple G2 live on pay-per-view September the 15th from the T-Mobile Arena, live on pay-per-view. All right, and now, as the sun sets outside, we find out who the winner is. But first, we take a look at the Tecate final punch stats. And here, you'll notice that in terms of total punches, Manzanares was more effective with 33%. But it was Mercito Gesta who threw at least 9 more in this fight. So we'll see if the jabs that Mercito Gesta threw or the power punches that he threw were more effective against Robert Manzanares' ring generalship. At the end of the day, the judges have the final decision in what should be a close fight. Mark Fratto with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big Fantasy Springs round of applause for these two hard-hitting warriors. Having gone the distance in this championship contest, we now go to the judges' scorecards. Judge at ringside, Zachary Young, scored this one 95-95, a draw. Overruled by judges Max DeLuca and Pat Russell, who saw it 96-94 in favor of your winner by majority decision and the new NABO lightweight champion from Cebu in the Philippines, Mercito. No mercy, Gesta.
All right, so Mercito Gesta hands Robert Manzanares his first loss since November of 2012, ending a 15-fight win streak. And importantly, Mercito Gesta, his only 2 professional losses have come in world title fights. So once again, if there's no title on the line, he is unbeatable. Beto Duran is with Mercito Gesta for the interview.
Mercito, you just told him that the belt's a little tight, but it's got to feel good to have it over your shoulder.
Yes, it feels a little tight. I told him to
loosen it up, Neil.
I know, I got it, bro.
You guys just had a battle, baby.
But you know what? I don't care, because this is my new belt.
10 strong, hard rounds. How did you feel like you did?
You know, I feel confident. I feel great. Every fight is different. So this one I'm comfortable, and I feel happy in my performance for this one.
Now, you told me that you expected him to bring everything to you, that you didn't want to go to become a gatekeeper. You don't want to be an opponent, and you had to lay it out tonight. You pushed him back. Your performance, how happy are you?
You know, I'm happy with my performance with the help of my team and Coach Freddie. I'm really happy, and you know what? He's a tough opponent. I've hurt him a couple of times, but you know what? He stays there. He remains. He stands and he fight toe-to-toe, and you know, I salute my opponent.
We had a stat that you're 0-2 when you go and fight for the big titles. Are you still considering yourself a player in this division?
Yes, of course. I'm waiting for that moment, and I believe that I'm in that category.
Mercito Gesta, Cebu, Philippines, San Diego. Salamat, felicidades, congratulations.
Thank you so much, and to all the fathers right here, happy Father's Day, and also to my dad. I dedicate this belt to my dad. Actually, I'm going to give this to him right now to just...
I'll give that to your dad. Back to you, Bernie.
Yeah, the dad who at age 54 steps in to the ring with him and spars whenever necessary. There he is, Mercito Gesta's father, who earns a belt for himself, a famous Muay Thai fighter in the Philippines, and his son followed his footsteps in combat sports, but now in boxing. So, your final thoughts on what was a solid performance from Mercito Gesta? I'm going to go away with what Robert Manzanares could have done to change things up.
Well, Manzanares had some rounds in his favor, and he will lose his rhythm. If he would have maintained the same pattern he did on some of the rounds that I gave him, he would have won the fight. He would have won by decision. But obviously, they were asking him to do more, and that's when Mercito was taking the best from him.
Yeah, I had the fight 96-94, like 2 of the judges had it officially. So it was a close fight, and there was very close rounds. It could have gone either way, but at the end of the day, it's Mercito Gesta who comes away with a hard-fought victory. Next Saturday, we invite you to join us on Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN2. In our main event, we'll have undefeated 9-0 prospect Virgil Ortiz, who's won all of his fights by knockout. He's one of boxing's top prospects. He'll be taking on former world champion Juan Carlos Salgado in what will be a big step up for him at the Belasco Theater. That'll be at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific in downtown LA. This one's on ESPN Deportes as well as on the ESPN app. Big night for Manny Robles III, who dropped his opponent Edgar Valerio 2 times in this fight, and the referee had to step in for a technical knockout win in the 9th round in a duel of unbeaten fighters. And Mercito Gesta proving that he's on his way to a 3rd world title shot. Maybe the 3rd time will be the charm against Robert Manzanares, getting a majority decision win here on Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN. For Beto Duran, Joel Diaz, and the crew, I'm Bernardo Osuna. Sports Center is up next.